Welcome back from that short break. The show keeps on going even when we are on a break. How are you doing? A very good morning to you if you just joined us right now. This is the Diary Lounge here on DreamTV and BTV. We get to stream live on www.imc.ug. That means you get to watch us from anywhere, whether you are headed to work or already in your office. We are honored to know that you choose to start your days with us. Here on the show, we get to cover all the stories dealing with Uganda, East Africa, Africa, and the rest of the world. Now, on to Congo.
The Lunch Fellowship this week has the presiding apostle, Dr. Joseph Sorada, from 1 p.m. to 2:15 p.m. You want to be a part of it. Your AI is interrupting my speech. Okay, but the lunch hour fellowship has the presiding apostle, Dr. Joseph Sorada. You don't want to miss out on him from 1 p.m. to 2:15 p.m. Now, the Wednesday morning service has a mystery. We returned to the mysteries for the rest of this year. I will be running, apart from the high flyer who sits in the program, you will follow the mysteries as we mention them. Now, this particular Wednesday is a point of contact mystery, okay? Point of contact means that if you have files, for example, or invoices that have not been paid, you can come with a copy of them. That point of contact you come with in the service on Wednesday morning, and when prayer is made, they'll be praying for that particular thing. If you're in business and you have books of accounts or something like that, you can come with a copy of them, maybe a receipt book, maybe something. That is what the mysteries are all about. Make it a point that you do that.
So
now, if you are a butcher, if you want to travel,
you bring your passport.
You bring your passport.
If you want to get married.
If you want to get married, you come with...
Do we just bring a ring anywhere? You come with it as a point of contact?
As a point of contact, yes.
Or the man delaying. Go later.
A point of contact, you know one.
Oh, Lord.
You want to take us to the Congo now?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Congo. For some reason, you have decorated me as a lover of Congo. I don't know if I should wear it with pride, but I will take on the mantle just as it has been given. Now, in Congo, of course, mourning is still going on. And in this particular story, we talk about a boxing champion, Chibomango, who was killed in Goma amid the M23 violence. Now, grief is still mingled with anger as the community mourns the tragic death of Chibomango, who is a former boxing champion and is among the 3,000 victims claimed by the M23 rebels. The memory of his untimely passing remains fresh, leaving behind a broken-hearted community. Now, there are several, according to one of his brothers, there were several gunshots and he was hit by a stray bullet and it killed him right on spot. And at the same time, I got a call saying my brother was dead despite the gunfire. I had to leave my house to understand the reason for his death. Oh, a lot is happening, but I wanted to discuss this. When we have such champions, we've seen how people take on who is that marathon runner that we have here in Uganda. The kind of...
Cheptegei.
Yes, the kind of image that we have of them as the champions they are. They represent hope. They have this thing that they represent to them, because Congo could be going through a lot, but you still see that him being a boxing champion, it put him somewhere in his community. He could be maybe a beacon of hope, of something to look forward to, that someone who can come from this place,
kind of background,
yes, can make it and be a champion. So it's not something that is to be taken lightly. But then I ask you, how best can these because it's a lot of weight that we put on them, the expectations that...
Now, the expectation comes with the responsibility as well. Just like we cheer you on when you're running, remember, none of us shares the money that you get, none of us shares the medal that you get, none of us shares all of that. So the responsibility of returning to the public, I believe that every one of those champions should be made an ambassador of sorts. Not a political ambassador, but an ambassador for something. Maybe water and sanitation, good health. I know, for example, Kiprotich was doing some advertising for a water company, which I forget. But the point is, associate them with the potential for achievement, and then make them advocates of certain things in society.
Right.
Advocates for education, advocates for sanitation, advocates for good health, advocates for such that they remain relevant. I have a problem, a big problem with talent management in this country, whether it's musicians, whether it's sportsmen, whether it's
mostly sportsmen.
Mostly,
yes, because
even musicians. Even musicians. Why should government go and pick colossal sums of money to give to a person who used to make 500 million, 800 million per show? You get it? That is poor management. The management of the resources, while the person still had the capacity to make the money, is wrong.
Right.
So there, in football, there's what they call man management. I went deep to study how people that come from African countries, for example, when they go to those other countries, Western countries, there are lots of things that are connected to them. Adjustments to weather, adjustments to food, adjustments to routines, different kinds of routines and so on, and then fitting in professionally in a setting, a sports setting that they're not accustomed to. Then the shock of money. I'll give you an example. Some of the money they receive per week is aid to their countries. Did you hear that? You get money that can be given to an organization in your country to support. You get it?
Yeah.
Per week. Somebody gets £200,000 per week.
And
that
yet
is billions of money.
And yet we truly have the talents. Now, I know someone out there might be wondering, why was the community really dumbfolded when this happened? So apparently in 2008, when he won the boxing championship, he went ahead to open up a youth empowerment for his community. He founded the club there, where which is a boxing academy that became the sanctuary for street children.
Now you see that
legacy as a champion.
That is what every talented person, I don't want to stick to sports and so on, there should be a lot of there should be something that Kiprotich leads or something like that, Cheptegei, Kipsiro, and the others in that area. Then you go to football, then you go to boxing, then you go to swimming, then you go to every other sport, such that they do not remain idle and die desolate and so on and so forth. Because what happens is that a lot of them do not have a fallback position. A few of them will study such that they have something to practice after, because sports expires.
Yes.
Has an expiry date. Maybe by 35,
it mainly runs on youth.
Yeah, yeah. So when maybe golf, but even then, it may not really take you very far. Time is fast spent, but we'll go to Namibia. You perhaps okay. Let me spare you from that one.
Please.
But did you know that at one time, South Africa were colonial masters for some countries in Africa? South Africa as a nation. One of them is Namibia, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the person that led Namibia to independence from South Africa, Sam Nujoma, has passed on at the age of 95. His death was announced yesterday by President Nangolo Mbumba, who said that Nujoma died Saturday night after being hospitalized in Windhoek, the capital. Now, the foundations of the Republic of Namibia have been shaken, Mbumba said in a statement. Over the past 3 weeks, the founding president of the Republic of Namibia and founding father of the Namibian nation was hospitalized for medical treatment and medical observation due to ill health. But he died at a good old age.
Yes.
Now, him, Mugabe, Kaunda, Obote, who are the others, and others, Nkrumah, and so on, big names on the African continent for what they were able to do. He was known. He spent 30 years in exile as a leader of its independence movement before returning to parliamentary elections in late 1989, the first democratic vote of the country. He was elected president by lawmakers later in 1990 when they got independence, which you can say really father of the nation. If we can learn something from them, because the leaders that we have today are completely different from those kinds of leaders.
And like you said, all the leaders, even as we complain about them, they represent something that is already happening within our community. So if we say there is a whole change of leadership and what the leaders stand for lately, it's simply because even us as a people, there is something, there is all that happening within us. So yeah, this is just what is it called in math? The probability of getting one person from all those others.
So the sample space is filled with
already those potentials.
Briefly, Israel has withdrawn, or Israeli troops have been withdrawn from Netzarim corridor. There was a boundary or a border where they had been cut off right in Gaza. Gaza is not big, as I mentioned.
Yes, you told
it's
us.
a small place of 42 kilometers in length and 10 kilometers in width. Very, very small, meaning that when you move from here, maybe up to Lugazi, that is Gaza in length. Then 10 kilometers is from Kampala to Kajansi. That is the width of the nation. So in between is where the Netzarim corridor was. But now the Israeli troops have decided to leave. And as we speak, in the exchange of hostages, 16 Israeli hostages were released, and 566 Palestinian prisoners were also released. By the end of the first ceasefire, in 3 weeks' time, 33 hostages and 1,900 prisoners were expected to have been freed. Israel says 8 of their 33 are dead. But you see, for the Israelis, even the dead matter. So just return the bodies and so on. Part of the sad stories I heard was a man who was released and he expected to be going back to family, only to discover that his family actually had died before that. Again, at all costs, it's important to avoid war.
And again, Alex, the pain, I feel like even with a ceasefire, the wounds are still there. I just feel like with that, then nothing has been done. Because if a man is going back to an empty house, where he may not even be able to bury, to say his goodbyes to his family, that means that he is being left wounded again. We are back to where this thing started. The anguish, the pain, the anger towards this other group of people, I feel like it has not changed. It's still there.
We'll keep it at that.